at William and Rick's apartment. A sense of optimism fills the air as William enthusiastically shares the remarkable changes happening around the world. He tells Mark and Eve about the withdrawal of U.S. troops from multiple station areas, a significant shift in global politics. State-funded colleges have been made tuition-free. Healthcare is now universally accessible, and crime rates have plummeted along with a dramatic decrease in supervillain activity. Even the international drug trade has been disrupted, with raids ending in the elimination of major assailants. Most astonishingly, North Korea has been liberated, now receiving much-needed humanitarian aid and economic support from allied nations. The space program has also seen an unprecedented expansion. However, what William doesn't realize is that all these changes stem from Rex's calculated influence. Mark listens in silence, his frustration mounting. He sees the broader picture and recognizes the source behind these seemingly positive transformations. He understands that Rex's hand in global affairs isn't as benevolent as it appears. Still, with these shifts in world order, questioning Rex's rule isn't easy. Just then, Mark and Eve receive a call from her parents, prompting them to leave for a visit. Meanwhile, in another part of the world, Nolan and Debbie arrive at the site of their former home, only to be met with devastation. Their house has been reduced to rubble, a haunting reminder of the past. Debbie looks on in shock while Nolan, though deeply unsettled, remains steadfast. He reassures her that making a deal with Rex was necessary, emphasizing that the Viltrumites cannot sustain a peaceful existence while simultaneously waging war against him. He reasons that Cecil may have even foreseen and, in some way, orchestrated this outcome. Despite the destruction before them, Nolan insists that they are happier now than they were before, and after a moment of contemplation, Debbie agrees. As they share an embrace, a nearby neighbor recognizes Nolan's face, prompting them to take off into the sky. Back at Eve's home, Mark walks her inside and checks in on her well-being, particularly about her prosthetic leg. His concern is evident, but as soon as he brings it up, he regrets it. Eve, however, brushes it off, explaining that while it serves as a constant reminder of past tragedies, she has learned to live with it. Elsewhere, in the middle of an intense battle, Thrag retaliates against Battle Beast's ferocity with a brutal uppercut, sending his adversary soaring into the air. Blood flies as Battle Beast reels from the blow, the raw brutality of their clash escalating. Later, during a quiet dinner with Eve's parents, the conversation turns to their newborn daughter. Eve's mother, Betsy, asks if they have chosen a name, but Eve admits she wants to wait for the perfect one. She also reveals that she has never been fond of her own first name. As they talk, their daughter begins to cry. Eve instinctively lifts her blouse to breastfeed, an act that prompts an outburst from her father, Adam, who storms away from the table in disgust. In the days that follow, Mark and Eve find themselves attending several funerals, each one a painful reminder of the heavy toll recent events have taken. The first is for Black Samson, whose real name is revealed to be Marcus Grimshaw. A beacon of strength in his community, his loss is deeply felt. Many gather to pay their respects, including Rex, Zandale, and numerous members of his old neighborhood. The second funeral honors Kid Thor and Knockout. The somber event is attended by many members of Capes Incorporated, and notably, Rex and Bolt, the latter visibly devastated by the loss of his friends. The third funeral is that of Cecil Stedman. Unlike the others, this one is eerily quiet, attended only by Mark and Eve. Mark cannot hide his disdain, remarking that at least Rex had the decency not to show up for this one. As they leave, Eve heads home, while Mark lingers in thought, contemplating what he could have done differently. He briefly considers confronting Rex outright, but the weight of the decision bears heavily on him. On his way home, Mark encounters a mortal who has suffered the loss of an arm. The seasoned warrior takes this moment to plead with Mark, urging him to take a stand against Rex. He acknowledges that he and Kate cannot do it alone. Mark, conflicted, admits that while he agrees with a mortal in principle, Rex's actions, though morally questionable, are logical. Immortal argues that the world isn't meant to function on logic alone, that chaos, unpredictability, and resilience define humanity. He stresses that Rex's changes won't last, and ultimately, the world must remain free. Drawing from his centuries of experience, he insists that Mark must be willing to sacrifice for the greater good. With renewed resolve, Mark travels to the Viltrumite warship, seeking his father's aid in opposing Rex. However, Nolan refuses outright, citing the immense risk it would pose to both humanity and the Viltrumite race. Mark's frustration boils over, but before he can argue further, Anissussy appears, casually greeting him. His anger surges at the sight of her, and in a fit of rage, he lunges forward, seizing her by the throat and slamming her into the wall. With seething intensity, he warns her to stay away. Nolan, taken aback, demands to know what's going on, but Mark dismisses him, refusing to explain. Anissussy, however, smirks, taunting him with a disturbing remark about their past encounter, suggesting she looks forward to the next. Shocked and disgusted, Mark releases her, stepping away in revulsion. Nolan presses him again for answers, but Mark refuses to say another word and storms out. Meanwhile, Battle Beast regains the upper hand against Thrag, sinking his teeth deep into the Viltrumite's left forearm, his powerful jaws crushing down in an attempt to suffocate his opponent. The fight rages on with savage intensity. Back on Earth, Eve finds herself deeply immersed in the discussion of baby names, struggling to make a final decision. She notices Mark lost in thought, his expression distant. Concerned, she presses him to share what's on his mind. After much hesitation, he finally confesses that he knows what must be done. He has to give up being a superhero to fully commit to fatherhood. But at the same time, he acknowledges the inevitability of facing Rex, a battle that could place them all in grave danger. The weight of responsibility bears down on him, and with grim certainty, he states the only solution. They must leave Earth before it's too late. And that's the story, folks. Please, leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. See you next time.